Hello and welcome back. As always, thank you for joining me here today. Wherever you happen to live on wobbling spinning ball of rock here, whatever time it is, it's a beautiful tool that we have at our disposal here in the internet and YouTube to reach one another. It's pretty cool when you think about it. So I thank you for taking the time that you're taking to pay attention to the message of the Holy Spirit, to pay attention to this course which has found you, whether you're a long-time student or a beginning student, or whether you're a student at all. And this just pulled you in somehow. Welcome, wherever you happen to find yourself. What we're talking about today has its basis in chapter 27, section 3 of the text of A Course in Miracles. And what we're talking about here really is the way awakening works, how it all functions, how it's accomplished, how it's done. If you've ever wondered about that, excellent. You've come to the right place. So, when we think of power here in the world, the instant picture that pops to mind for almost all of us is power over, as in political power, as in business power, monetary power, power over what appear to be others. There appears to be a hierarchy, and there appear to be opponents as those in power fight with other people in power because they want more power, all the while trying to oppress those who don't have this magical, weird thing called power, which is nothing. It's an idea. As we all know, when you really think about it, it's not some big, concrete, real thing. But here in the world, we've made it so, and we've fashioned our entire existence out of this weird idea. So, what's real power then? If the world's power is all made up? God, love, truth, that. Real power cannot oppose. It has no opponent. Truth simply is, it has no opponent. Love simply is, it has no opponent. God simply is, i.e., the only reality which has no opponent. There is no opponent. You have no opponent. You have no separate other. There is no separate other. God is the only reality. Period. End of discussion. The end. We could end the dialogue right there, right there, with two syllables. God is. What's implicit in that? Only God is. All else is illusion. If you're familiar with the ancient Hindu tradition of Advaita Vedanta, only Brahman, i.e., God, is. All else is illusion. A Course in Miracles and this ancient Hindu tradition of Advaita Vedanta are the only two spiritual traditions that I'm aware of that posit this only God is. Now, understand that this does not make A Course in Miracles superior to any other tradition, does it? Don't get us wrong at all. There is no hierarchy of differences. There is no separation of any kind. How can there be any superior to inferior? There's no superior inferior dichotomy. There's no opposition. Only God is. Yet we have chosen not to see that Instead, we appear to look out from these weird mirrors that we call our eyes and see 8 billion plus raving, screaming lunatics running around, competing for what we deem to be really scarce resources, power over, not real power. On wobbling, spinning ball of rock, we have made up these weird things called nation states, lines that a bunch of old dudes drew on this thing called a map a long time ago. In other words, made up completely, fabricated, and we have allowed all of this to govern our entire experience. Yet you have seen the emptiness in all of that. You have seen the meaninglessness of the world. You have perceived the emptiness of the world. If you had not, you would certainly not be here. You sure wouldn't be interested in A Course in Miracles. That's for certain. Welcome. You're here. You have seen through the illusion. Now, it may have frightened you, but we'll talk about that. You have, at least for even a moment, perceived the emptiness of what we call the world. All of our made up drama, our fallacy, our imposed, superimposed pictures of what we deem to be reality that really symbolize our fear and guilt for having thought that we could separate from our source, capital S, in the first place. God is the only reality. As the creation of God, all of us, God's the creator, we're the created, of course. We're perfectly safe and at home in God, where we've always been. Why? Like extends like. God extends himself. You've always known. Doesn't mean that that doesn't freak you out. Might freak you out right now. That's part of the path. It is. We've all experienced this. I mean, you're here with something in your hands, as we say in the world, so to speak, at your disposal. Again, just language that we're using. You have something really powerful here. A means, a practical self-study curriculum that is intended to help you wake up. So how does this all work? The picture that we see of our brother, in other words, every single living thing, as separate from us as separate from them, that picture is completely wrong. There is no separation of any kind, yet here where we perceive multiplicity and all kinds of separation, we need gentle correction. Because when we look at our brother, we think of him as a contradiction, a walking contradiction, loving one minute, terrifying the next, fearful. Love, hate, love, hate. And we see ourselves the exact same way. We see ourselves as completely benign, peaceful, and loving one moment, and then we transform, apparently really quickly, into a vicious hate rage machine. Huh? So we vacillate, and the picture that we see is a contradiction, which means nothing. These two apparent sides completely cancel each other out, and we're left with nothing. What we see when we look at our brother as a walking contradiction is nothing. It means absolutely nothing. You can't have, as Section 27 or chapter 27, section 3 of the text states here, you can't have an idea such as hateful love, living death. Those kinds of juxtapositions mean absolutely nothing. So, if you're familiar with the workbook for students, you may have wondered at some of those early ideas in the workbook that essentially clear the slates for us mentally. Nothing I see in this room means anything. Lesson 1. Nothing I see on the street means anything. And you may have looked at this, or if you're about to do the workbook, you may look at this. This video will really help you, by the way, if you're about to embark on this journey. You may wonder what in the world that has to do with spirituality at all. And a valid question, isn't it? A valid question. What does this have to do with spirituality at all? What in the hell are you actually talking about, dude? Nothing I see on this street means anything? Huh? What the actual, as we say here on the internet, in our weird language of acronyms, WTAF? What? Well, here we go with the real meaning behind that. Everything that we appear to see is something that we've made up and given all of the meaning that it appears to have. We've assigned everything that pops up here in our experience all of the meaning that it appears to have for us. And what we're doing in practicing this course in the practice of true forgiveness is we're clearing the slate, we're removing our own interpretations of everything. They're wrong. You see yourself as separate from God. That's not true. It's impossible. You see yourself as separate from your brother. Again, not true. And impossible. Impossible. It's not possible. Yet here we choose to see it so. That is how powerful our mind is. So when you think about it, there's the seed of liberation right there. If we've made this up, we can set it aside. Huh. That's a choice that we all get to make right here in the present moment. When else? There's no other time in which we would do that. Right now. When else? So the picture that we're looking at is false. We willingly choose to set it aside in our practice of true forgiveness, as we've talked about here recently in some very recent videos, and as is taught here in A Course in Miracles. The foundational centerpiece of the practice of this course, true forgiveness. So as we do that, what's going on is we're setting aside our interpretation of things, which is inaccurate anyway. The picture of our brother as a living death or loving hate is a complete contradiction in terms, impossible and meaningless. So we remove that picture. What's there after we've cleaned the slate? Well, nothing's there. It appears to be an empty space. Now, in this empty space, we can allow truth to enter. Truth enters of itself when we've removed all of our ego concepts. Now, because this may terrify us, we're given a gentle awakening. That's why this all appears to take time. If you got a glimpse right now of truth in all of its shining, blazing reality beyond words, completely beyond words, beyond all of our concepts, If that would terrify you to have your ego completely disappear, then, well, you're not alone, for starters. And for this reason, we're given what appears to be a gradual program of awakening, a gradual curriculum, a gradual course, a gradual set of experiences that we refer to as a journey, as a path. We're given this because to awaken in a blinding flash might terrify us. The Holy Spirit, our inner teacher, knows if it would or if it would not. Is that spontaneous awakening possible? Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. But most of us aren't going to get that in the next 5 minutes because we have work to do. Pure and simple, right? We have forgiveness work to be accomplished, so we go about that. And each time we do, we clear the slate of perception, clear the slate of our mind, and allow the Holy Spirit to write his meaning instead of our own. We substitute a fearful, hateful, vengeful picture of our brother for a loving picture. The pictures are still pictures, it's illusion, yes, but forgiveness is not of your making. It is the only illusion that leads directly to truth rather than away from it. In truth, you may have wondered, so let's confirm that in truth, there's no separation of any kind. There's nothing to forgive. Here, while we see separation and it dominates and overwhelms our mind, we have a lot to forgive. This is the practice that we go through and the way in which we recognize that we've never left our source, capital S. We do it as gradually as we need to do it, with whatever is in front of us, with whatever appears to pop up in our experience. Anything that is not wholly joyous is an opportunity to forgive. It's an opportunity to remove our own erroneous way of looking at things and substitute the Holy Spirit's way instead. Exchange pictures. Set aside the hate for a loving picture. Set aside a picture of gross limitation for one of limitlessness. Set aside hate and fear for love. That's what we're doing, and it's what we're invited to do. So the Holy Spirit knows what we're capable of at any one given time, and if that spontaneous enlightenment flash would scare you to no end, it's not going to happen for you. Because the Holy Spirit is kind, so we're given what appears to be a long process, but it's a process that's necessary for us. Now, you can speed that up. The more you remember to forgive and the more you do it, the fewer forgiveness lessons you have left. If you successfully forgive and learn a forgiveness lesson, you don't need to repeat it. So, in that sense, this course and this practice can save you eons and eons and eons of time. It's all right here for you to follow, to do. We learn this course through experience. We see loving pictures. We exchange our hateful pictures for a loving picture until such time as pictures are completely unnecessary. Until such time, forgive, forgive, forgive. And should you have any questions about all of this, that is 100% understandable and natural. Spirituality should be all about questioning in the first place, because we're invited here as students of this course to question the very foundations of everything we now believe. And don't stop until you're doing that. Question the truth and veracity of this course and its messenger, which is nothing but assemblage of pixels on your screen. Great. Question that, but don't stop with just that. Keep going. Only you will know if you're really being honest with yourself, and keep going. Keep going. Question the very foundations of everything you now believe. That's what this is about. And you are ready for that. Ooh. You may not feel like it right now, and there may be a voice that you're listening to prominently saying, "Oh, you're not ready for this. Go back to the couch." Yeah, you're still here. Oh, okay. Well, that should tell you everything you need to know right there. Keep going. Expect the resistance. Expect it. It is the ego. All resistance is of the ego. So this is a practice of forgive, forgive, forgive. Relax and trust the guidance of our inner teacher. Allow it. Allow your vision of the world, which is wrong, to be replaced. Allow your hateful pictures to be replaced with a loving picture until such time as pictures and symbolism is completely unnecessary. Until such time, please feel welcome to ask all the questions that you may have. This is an excellent place to do it here in the comment thread. And that, by the way, this icon is the subscription prompt. Subscribe if you have not. We'd love to have you join us. Several videos appear each week. There's always something here to talk about. So please do join us if you have not yet. And thank you for all of your questions, and especially for your dedication and commitment to practice what you've just been doing right now. Very important. All right. Talk to you soon.